I'm gonna make you a promise. Watch this video till the very end and you will win more than 90% of this game playing this gambit. And I was researching this gambit for the last 2 hours and I could not believe it, and I'm gonna show you guys this gambit. So let's get right into the video. This gambit is called the Martian Gambit and it is popularized by a streamer called Witty Alien. I'm gonna link his channel in the description of this video. So this gambit is played against the Caro Kann defense. You go e4, your opponent goes e5 and you take the center. Your opponent plays the Caro Kann defense. And in this position, you play knight to d2, the tactic hour. Your opponent will take this pawn, you take back. And in this position, your opponent has 2 main moves. Either he'll go knight f6 or he will go bishop f5. If your opponent plays knight to f6, this will now turn into an alien gambit. The Martian Gambit is when your opponent goes bishop f5. When your opponent goes bishop f5, you go knight to g5 so that your opponent cannot take your bishop anymore. Your opponent will go here. If your opponent doesn't go here and goes here, you simply develop your knight here. In any case, you develop your knight here even if your opponent goes here. If your opponent attacks your knight right away, this can transpose into a normal Caro Kann or an alien gambit. I'll make a separate video on the alien gambit which you can watch. But if your opponent plays this move, now you will play the Martian Gambit. In this position, you'll simply develop your knight here, and whenever your opponent attacks this knight over here, you go knight to e6, sacrificing your knight like this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Martian Gambit. Your opponent has to take this gambit. When your opponent takes this gambit, you jump with the knight in the center of the board and attack this bishop. So your opponent has 3 main moves. He can go here with the bishop, he can go here, and he can go here. He can also go here, 4 moves. So first we look at the most common move played by black and the most natural move. The move is bishop f7. In this position, you play bishop f4, attacking this pawn. Now your opponent can respond with a few moves. The most natural and common move is this, which is a blunder. Because if your opponent ever tries to go here to remove your knight, you simply take this bishop. And when king takes, you don't give this check. Instead, you go queen to g4. Because now this pawn cannot be guarded by any of black's pieces. So whatever black plays, you just take on the very next move with the bishop. If here it's checkmate. In this position, the best move for your opponent is to guard this knight by going here or here. If your opponent gives this check, you simply block with the bishop. He has to retreat back. So he has to guard his knight. If he does not guard his knight and goes a move like here, you simply take with the bishop. And after this, you don't give this check, you simply take his knight. And when your opponent does that, you take here, you go queen here. And after this, you simply castle and you are completely winning. Your game plan is going here with the bishop, going here with the pawn and stacking the rooks and attacking, because black cannot move a single piece. Black can move this knight, but it can't really do anything. This bishop will stay here forever. This rook cannot move. This rook cannot move. So you simply dominate the game after this. What if your opponent doesn't go here? What if your opponent goes here, attacks the bishop right away? This is also a blunder. In this position, you sacrifice your bishop. Brilliant move. This bishop cannot be taken, because if black takes the bishop, you go here and checkmate with the queen, because this square is covered and there's no way black can defend against checkmate. If black plays an empty move anyways, you will checkmate on the very next move with the bishop. The best move for black in this position is to play knight here. In this position, you have 2 main moves. One is queen to d3 and one is queen to e2. I recommend queen to e2 because it is more venomous. First of all, black can take this pawn. If black does, this is a blunder, because you simply go knight takes bishop and win the game, because this pawn is now under attack. If black takes the knight, you simply go in with the queen. And when black goes here, black has to go back, because if black comes forward, black gets checkmated like this. At least black loses his queen, and you win on the very next move by checkmate. And if black goes back, you simply go queen to c8 check, and now only moves to block with the queen, and here you go here and win the queen and win the game. What if in this position black does not take this pawn? You go queen here and black does not take this pawn. The most natural move is this, but this move loses again to the same tactic, which is knight takes bishop, and when the king takes, you simply take here and it's forced checkmate. Now I showed you all of the things that can happen when black goes bishop here. Black basically almost loses the game. Defending this position is almost impossible unless you're a really good chess player or you have preparation against the Martian Gambit. In this position, remember, after attacking this bishop and the bishop retreats there, you go bishop here, attack this pawn. Black can't go here because you take this. Brilliant move. Black can't go here because you take the bishop and go here and take the pawn on the next move. Black can go here, but after black goes here, remember the move queen to e2. Attacking this pawn secretly. The best move for black is obviously to defend this pawn by a move like this. You have really high amounts of counterplay after this, and playing a move like bishop f4, attacking the queen. The queen can obviously not take, because if the queen takes, you destroy the king. Only Stockfish can defend this. Now we look at this move. What if black goes back with the bishop and now you can't target anything? The engine is bouncing, but white is better in this position. After the move bishop to d3, instead of here, now we go here to trade this bishop off. The best move is the unnatural knight to f6, which some players will find, but after this you simply win the game, because actually the idea behind knight here is to take with the rook, which very less people will find. It's so unnatural, and you allow things like this and this. So now actually the queen can take here, but yeah, this is the only move to survive after this position. If black takes, you take back with the queen, and there's simply no way to guard against this checkmate. There's simply no way. There is no way to guard against checkmate. There is one way, which is to move the queen so that the king has breathing room. But in this position, after this you fork with your knight and you win the rook. You castle, you win the game. Black's king is in the center. Black is down material. You are destroying and crushing in this position. So that's what happens when black goes here. Remember, black can go here and simply take this bishop, and after this, castle your king. Play moves like this. Attack, open this up. Black's king is stuck in the center. It cannot leave. It will get pillaged. Only an engine can defend this position, and you'll win all of your games. So, what if your opponent goes bishop here and protects this pawn like this? And now you don't go here, because if you go here after queen takes, you don't have this check to win material, because if your opponent had went here, for example, in this position, if your opponent goes here and after you go here, your opponent takes, you simply go here, check, and win the queen on the very next move and go on to win the game. In this position, if your opponent plays a move like this, you go here instead. Remember, your opponent cannot go here because of this, and after this you win. So in this position, what if your opponent goes here and this? So now you play the same move, which is bishop takes e6. Brilliant move. Sacrificing your bishop, because remember, the bishop cannot be taken because of checkmate. And if he simply takes, you take with this, and you're simply too powerful on the light squares in this position. You'll be pillaging the king. And although the engine thinks it's better for black. It's really not clear, because black has to play some really unnatural moves to defend this position, which I doubt anyone will. It is very powerful. It's a lethal weapon, especially in blitz. In blitz, I think you'll win 100% of your games. It's simply too powerful to defend against, because the moves to defend are so unnatural against the Martian Gambit. So, last move. What if your opponent in this position goes here? You simply go bishop c4, again attacking this pawn. And if your opponent plays this, thinking he has blocked, this is checkmate. You always look for that. If your opponent goes a move like here, defending, you can now castle. You can bring your rook here. You can go here. You're doing really well in this position. 2, although the engine thinks it's slightly better for black, although you are down a knight, this means you have really high amounts of compensation. Now, in the beginning of the video, I told you that you can only play the Martian Gambit when your opponent goes here and guards this pawn against any shenanigans. If your opponent attacks your knight right away, you cannot play the Martian Gambit, because if you do, there is no Martian Gambit and you lose the game. So, what do you do when your opponent goes here? When your opponent goes here, you play another gambit, which is called the Alien Gambit, which is this. And I'm not going to cover this in this video, but I'm going to make another video about the Alien Gambit, which you should go and definitely watch. If your opponent ignores your knight, goes here, you simply ignore him too and go here. If your opponent ever attacks your knight like this, you go Alien Gambit. This is the Alien Gambit, because the bishop is not guarding. If your opponent goes here, you simply go here, same thing. And if you're attacked, you go here, sacrificing your knight. And after the Alien Gambit is accepted, you go knight here, and this is a simple transposition back into the Alien Gambit. You play this, and your opponent will probably blunder with something like this, and you crush your opponent, because the Martian Gambit is too powerful. It's too powerful. It's unbelievably powerful, because the defenses for black are so unnatural. You have to defend perfectly in this position, and the engine thinks it's only slightly better for black, even though black is up a knight, because of the high amounts of compensation. So this was the Martian Gambit. Really powerful, a destructive weapon against the Caro Kann defense, and you'll be winning almost 100% of your games. You'll have a win rate of over 90% if you're playing blitz. I can almost promise you that. Smash that subscribe button for more epic content like this. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye bye.